Well, I've talked about spirituality and trauma earlier a little bit. Now that you've been exploring some of these exercises and working with some of these sensations, I imagine that many of you are starting to feel this connection to spirituality. In the VU exercise we did earlier, to open our feeling container, to expand our capacity for sensations, many of you had discovered that, okay, wow, not only am I not feeling the tension and the anxiety, but I'm feeling more expanded. Very often we feel very beautiful sensations of flow and of warmth. And all of these are kinds of sensations that are described in different spiritual practices. And the idea, just like the idea is not to have some big remembering of a trauma, the idea here is not that we have some major, all of a sudden, out-of-body spiritual experience, but that spirituality becomes embodied. It becomes part of our existence, so that we experience this sense of aliveness, of goodness in our bodies, in our whole organisms, and that we want to share that. And we feel the compassion to ourselves for not having felt that for so long, and also for the compassion for all others who haven't been able to feel these feelings of goodness, and we want to kind of share that with other people. There's a quote from Wilhelm Reich, who was one of the great discoverers of healing in the body, and he said, "Love, work, and understanding should be the well springs of our life. They should also govern it." And it's this desire to share what we experience in love with others that I think brings us even greater joy and greater contentment. But again, the idea is not to make any one of these things happen, not to try to make them happen, but to just notice when they happen, and to also become aware of the spiritual dimension of even the simplest experience, because that can often be the most profound, as it is in Zen, right? The unenlightened man chops wood and carries water. The enlightened person chops wood and carries water, but does it with this awareness and with the sense of aliveness and with the sense of connection. And Wilhelm Reich said this in a very beautiful, moving way when he said that love, work, and understanding should be the well springs of our life. They should also govern it. And feeling the well springs of our lives also takes us to love and to finding ways to express our love through relationship and through work. In different Buddhist and Taoist traditions, that the portals to transformation have to do with surrender. And in these traditions, there are 4 ways that one can come to the surrender. One is through sex, through ecstatic sex. This is so-called tantric approaches to sexuality. And the exercises that we were playing with, working with the VU sound, with the sexual and other trauma, that is really a way of also coming to our sexuality and to our sacred sexuality. The second portal is through a long-time meditation process. And the monks who do this meditation process, you may have read about the research done that show that they have more parts in their frontal brain, bigger parts in their frontal brain. These are monks that have meditated for thousands and thousands of hours. And so while meditation is extremely important, meditation by itself takes a lifetime. May take a lifetime. The third portal is death. That at death, if we're able to surrender to death, then that's a profound surrender. And many of us are unable to do that. And also, even at the surrender at death, I suspect there must also be the regret that we weren't able to have that surrender in our lives earlier. So in many, again, different Taoist and Buddhist traditions, they really work with images of death and surrendering to death. And you can do that with these exercises as well, to imagine feeling these sensations and then also surrendering to death. The fourth road to enlightenment is said to be trauma. And that's really what we've been dealing with in this program, in this online program, is how, when we're able to experience these sensations and surrender. I think a lot of times we don't really know what surrender, or we have misconceptions of what surrender means. Surrender really means being able to experience whatever we're experiencing without judgment. To experience whether it's sensation or whether it's tightness, we are surrendering into those sensations. And the more we're able to do that, the more we're able to be gifted by the grace of surrender.